Hi everyone, welcome to my training session. I am David Singh and I will be your trainer for today's session. Today we are going to learn about Microsoft Excel's one of the most powerful tools, pivot table and pivot report. Let me introduce with today's session. So our main objective and focus will be to learn how to create and use pivot table and pivot report step by step using MS Excel. In this session, I will be taking lecture on for the first part to introduce with the tool and will explain you how this tool is powerful and where we can use it. And then I will take you on to the second part of this session where I will show you the simulation of how to create the pivot table and chart step by step, which makes it a report. At last, we will do a small discussion. Before that, I will give you a real life example of how this tool can be helpful for our work. Then I will ask you to share your idea to discuss the same. Also, please note that at the end of this session, I would like to ask you for a very small favor for you to give me a very small feedback, this which will help me improve or understand how well I did in this session. So basically, this will be our agenda for today. So let's get started. Let me first introduce you with the term pivot table and pivot report. And let us see how it may look like. So we are going to be discussing about the looks of the pivot table and pivot report. So as you can see, the pivot table is nothing but a table with some added features, which makes it powerful. For example, pivot table gives us different features like filtering, sorting, categorizing, and subcategorizing the data, and summarizing data, etc. We can also create the pivot chart using this table, which can provide the same features. Using chart, we can present the data in graphical way and can perform analysis easily, like comparing the data for different years or months, etc. Also, we can change the table format and can filter out data based on our need using Excel functions and formatting. So why and when we can use this tool, you may be asking. So basically, when we have large set of data and we want to filter out some data, or we want to create a data analysis report, these are the ways we can use this powerful tool. We can use this tool to present any type of raw table format data into a sorted and report format table, and can use logical operation to present it, or to perform data analysis. Think like you need to present the comparison between different financial information. At a time, you can use this tool to create report, which may include the pivot table and chart to present the effective statistical analysis. So, let's get over with the boring lecture and let's actually perform this. So, to create pivot report, we need data, which will be very, very important. So I already have a same data for you to help you perform this task step by step with me. I have attached my GitHub link to sample Excel datasheet in the description section. So I please would ask you to download and open it right now. Okay, so here we have our data sheet, and it has about 50 rows of data of total vegetables and fruit sale in 3 different countries. Okay, so let's create the pivot table first. Well, when creating the pivot table, we ask ourselves, how many ways do they have to create this pivot table? Well, I can tell you there are 2 ways, and each of those 2 ways I'll be demonstrating for you in this session. But I will be utilizing the second way to show a clear picture of the pivot table creation. So to create the pivot table, first select the table, and then as soon as you select the table, it will show you a small icon of quick analysis. We can click on it and then click on the tables tab, which will show you some ready-made pivot tables using some of the table fields. You can then select any option you want, and it will simply create the pivot table using some predefined fields. So I will carry out that operation right now. So I'm selecting the fields, and here we can locate the quick analysis button, clicking it simply, going onto the tables field, and clicking any pivot table here. So this one. This carries me into my second way of demonstration. The second way to create the pivot table is to use the menu bar by first clicking on Insert, making sure that your current selected cell is inside the table. Then you will see an option for pivot table. As soon as you click on that, it will show you a wizard like this. So I'm clicking on pivot table. It brings up a wizard like this with the create pivot table. Where it will show you some basic information about creating the pivot table. It will automatically select the table we have in the spreadsheet to create the pivot table. So let's proceed by clicking OK. Using this method, we must have to create the pivot table from scratch. Don't worry, it is not a difficult procedure. It's just taking time to know the steps. So, without further ado, let's create the pivot table by adding some fields. So, as we can see here on the right hand side, it defines the different fields. We can select many fields as we want to create in the pivot table. So, let's select everything except order ID field. Okay, all the selected fields are now below in the row section, as seen here. Let's group some of the data and make it more clear and useful. Let's drag this country column to the countries section, the column section rather. As soon as you move this row to column section, you can see the table has changed. Now it is showing all the data in more useful and meaningful way. Let's also rearrange the grouping. So the sequence of row decides what data will be under what group. Let's take category field on the top. Notice the changes. The fruits category has all the fruits, and vegetables category has all the vegetables undergrouped under it. Also, let's try to add some filters. Let's put filtering on category field. So we are dragging it and dropping it into the filter section just above. As simple as this. Note the changes again. You can see here it added a small area with an arrow button that is actually filtering. Let's try it out. So we can see here it's filtering from fruit and vegetables. So we're selecting fruits and we're clicking OK to see what it brings out. The table will only show the fruits data. Note though that everything will be changed, including the total fields. So basically, this pivot table can provide us different features like sorting. As you can see, we have sorting available here. You can sort, grouping as the data is grouped together. It's grouped together. Filtering, we have here on top, we can filter the fruit and vegetable or show all, which will display fruit and vegetables. And so the pivot table also has ability to show the summary data, like it shows total for individual group and for all the data. We can also include other formatting based upon the conditions and requirements that we are provided with. But what if we want to compare this data according to maybe months or country? It will be very easy to do that using grouping, but it can also be easier if we create a pivot chart, a graphical bar chart to present data. Let's do it step by step. So, first click on the Analyze tab on the top menu bar. You will see an option of pivot chart. Click on it. It will show you a wizard with different options and styles of charts, as seen in this picture here. You can select any of this as you like, but I'm going to select bar chart and click OK. As soon as you click OK, the chart will be added to the screen. You can drag it and place it anywhere you want and resize it. So, check this out. We have the chart which shows us different data according to groups. Okay, let's check out what it has to offer us. So, it also offers almost the same features as we have in pivot table. We can use filters, we can remove columns if we want. Let's check out some of these features. Let's delete date field and see how it looks like. So, in order to delete the field, we can right click on the field and you will see the option to remove the field. Click on it and the field will disappear from the chart and you will see the changes in the chart. It looks better and now we can actually compare data month-wise. Let's try out some filtering. Let's filter out the countries. So we can simply click on the countries drop down and select Canada. You will see the changes in the chart that it now only shows the data of Canada. Okay, so this is how we can create the pivot report. Based on the final output of our exercise, you can see the pivot report is a powerful tool and can help us to perform data analysis. Think about how and where we may use this tool in real life. Let me give you an example. Suppose if you are a manager at a client-focused business and you were to present the statistical report of last 5 years of total loss, profit, expenses, department-wise, and then how tedious would it be to analyze data manually? Very tedious. Instead, we can create pivot table and chart and can present a report with graphical data. It will make easy to explain and present the statistics and it will be user-friendly and easy to understand. Now, I would kindly like to ask you to share your idea on how this tool can be helpful to you and can save time and where do you think you will or can use this feature. Please share your idea into the comment box and let everyone know. Let's rewind what we did in this session. So, if we look back, in the beginning, we understood what is pivot table and report and how it can be useful to us, and also we saw an example and went through different features it has to offer us. We also simulated step-by-step process of creating and using pivot table and report. And at the last, we understood how it can be helpful in real world and for data analytics. At last, before we end this session, I would like to ask everyone to please go to the description section below and find the feedback and training evaluation Google form link. Please visit them and provide your feedback and share your thoughts on how the session was and how much do you like it. And you can also share your ideas to make it better. The feedback is anonymous. And do the trainees evaluation quiz to just help me understand how much trainees understood and where they need to improve. At last, if you have any questions or concerns regarding this session, please don't hesitate to ask through commenting below. Thank you.